Let's see. How to intro a video. You're not supposed to be here yet. Now, I've done work on lightsabers in the past, particularly the Galaxy's Edge lightsabers, so the ones that you buy from like Doc Ondar's, the Legacy sabers, the ones that are like the character lightsabers. I've done work on the Asajj Ventress one, I've done work on a Darth Maul one, I've done work on a Plo Koon. I'm supposed to be doing work on a Cal Kestis one for my friend pretty soon. And I like doing the work on those, they're fun. It's kind of interesting pulling them apart and getting to replace the electronics and stuff in them, and building a new blade, or replacing the LEDs in the blade to be, you know, LED strips that are a lot nicer, a lot cleaner, smoother effects. They're fun. However, after doing a few of them, decided that I really wanted to build myself my own custom lightsaber. For those ones, I had to do some 3D modeling work to make a little internal chassis, to fit connectors and PCB boards and stuff inside of there. And I decided to use some of that knowledge that I gained while building those and move over to building a custom lightsaber for myself. Now, I got the idea from basically the original and prequel trilogies to take a vintage camera flash handle and convert it into a lightsaber. For those that you know, you already know what I'm talking about. The Graflex and the Darth Vader, and then a couple of the original, or a couple of the prequel trilogy Jedi lightsabers. Those were built using vintage camera flashes. For those of you that don't know, basically old cameras had a big long handle on the side of it that had a bulb and a reflector, and then that was the flash. So it wasn't built into the camera, and it wasn't this thing that's stuck on top of the camera. It was this whole big extra attachment that went onto the camera. For A New Hope, they took what was known as a Graflex flash handle, which came off of a Graflex film camera, and converted that into Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. Vader's lightsaber was also built off of a Graflex handle, but it was a slightly different model of it. And then a few of your prequel trilogy lightsabers also kind of carried over that same idea. Anakin's lightsaber was a Graflex. Rey's lightsaber was also the Graflex lightsaber, up until she built her new one. So I took that idea and decided to use it to build my custom lightsaber for myself. I haven't gotten super far with it. This video is more just kind of introducing the early stages of the project and what I've gotten done so far. I'll have a video on like the internal electronics and stuff, and then I'll have a final video showcasing the completed saber and kind of going over all the work that really went into it. Now, I would have loved to have used a Graflex, however, they've gotten a little expensive. Once people started to figure out what the original lightsabers were built off of, people started to buy them up and build their own replicas of those lightsabers using, obviously, the original props for them. So actual legitimate Graflex flash handles have gotten fairly expensive and pricey. There's not a lot of them out there, so whenever you do find one for a good price, if you don't buy it immediately, it's usually gone by the time you go to look at it again. I found another vintage camera flash that was missing some parts off of it. Doesn't have a name, doesn't have any sort of serial number, nothing. But it was a vintage 2-cell camera flash. So purchased it, got it in, and then the first part of the project basically began. That first part of the project was designing and modeling and then printing the internal chassis that will house all of the electronics. This guy here. So this will fit the battery, the soundboard, the speaker, and then the hilt side of the connector for the blade. So there's a blade side connector and a hilt side PCB for it. Once all of that was completed, which took me 5-6 tries and just as many prints and modifications to those prints before I nailed this down, I then started working on the outer portions of the lightsaber, including the button, which some of the decisions for the button were already taken while creating the internal chassis, and then a few decisions for the button were done once I kind of nailed down the style and look for the saber that I wanted. So once I got all that taken care of, I then moved on to designing the emitter portion of the lightsaber. That was kind of my next step. I knew basically from the get-go I wanted to go with that nice little cool slanted design that's in like the Vader style lightsaber. I always kind of like that look for it, and considering that I kind of want to use this for a Sith like cosplay, I wanted to kind of take that little design aspect and carry it on to my own personal lightsaber. I had a few different designs for the emitters already kind of done up, and then once I thought I knew what I wanted out of the emitter, I then moved on to designing the pommel. I wound up making the pommel a little bit more robust than I originally planned on, but I think it really helped fill out some of the empty negative space on the flash handle. Otherwise, it would have just been like a little bit of black up top, a little bit black up bottom, and then just a very plain, basic tube with a couple of things sticking off of it. And I wanted it to have more of a like actual lightsaber look and feel than just a flashlight with a blade on it, basically. So once I got the pommel design kind of nailed down, I then went and redesigned the emitter, and this is kind of where we're at now. So it still carries over that nice little slanted part. It's got more of that little chunky kind of feel to it, and then carries over the, you know, fluted little like 45-degree fluted sections through here. The pommel itself does have a nice little grill on the bottom so that the speaker is protected but also still allows enough sound to come out of it. There are also some holes across the edges and sides of it that allow for sound to escape so that the speaker doesn't wind up being muffled or like blocked too badly by the pommel section of this blade. There is a little spot right here that I designed in there that's going to have a threaded heat insert, which the Cobra Tech wheel will attach to. The Cobra Tech wheel is the classic little clip for attaching the lightsaber to a belt. So yeah, finished up the pommel design, then redesigned the emitter, and we're kind of at the stage that we're at today. The next steps are going to be finishing the electronics on the internal chassis, installing all of those, getting them all working, and then I will finalize the outer design, any little extra things I want to do to it. We'll do some painting, a little bit of cleanup and stuff, and then have the full reveal for my custom flash handle lightsaber. So, that being said, next video will be the electronics. Then I'll have a final video of the reveal for the saber and all of the final steps for it. I'm very excited to get this project finished. I've been working on it off and on for the past probably about 2 weeks now. It's been hard kind of just putting a lot of time into it. I've had some issues with the soundboards, doing some early testing with them. So I need to figure out those issues. And then once all of that is finalized and nailed down, then we'll have a completed saber.